I am back with some more applications of the normal probability curve. So for now, in the previous video lectures, we have learned some applications like how to compare the two scores of two different tests, how to find out the percentage of the cases that lie between the given two limits or scores, and how to find out the percentage of the cases that lie above or below any given score. If you have not watched the previous videos, the link of the previous videos is given in the description box of this video, or you can find the link also from here. Today we are going to study two more applications of the normal probability curve. First is to determine the percentile rank of a student in his class or group. Second, we will discuss about how to find the score of a student whose percentile rank is known to us, is given from there. We have discussed about the percentile and percentile rank in the previous video lectures. If you have not watched that video lecture, please watch that video lecture. The link of that video lecture is given in the description box and you can get the link from here also. First is to determine the percentile rank of the student in his class. Let us take an example. If the score of a student in the class test is 70, the mean of that whole class is 50 and the standard deviation of that class is 10, we have to find out the percentile rank of that student. We have given from there the raw score, that is 70. We have given from there the mean of the group, that is 50, and we have given from there the standard deviation of the group, that is 10. We have to find out the percentile rank of the student in the class. First, let us deduce this from the graph, that is the normal probability curve. This is the normal curve. Who have watched the previous videos, they might be knowing that this curve is having the mean 0 and the standard deviation equal to 1. And also in this curve, approximately the 50% of the cases lie below the mean and approximately 50% of the cases lie above the mean. You have to remember the percentages which lie between 0 to 1 SD or 0 to 2 SD or 0 to 3 SD or from 1 to 2 SD, 2 to 3 SD, or between plus minus 1 SD or between plus minus 2 SD or between plus minus 3 SD. You know that in the normal probability curve is having the mean 0 and the standard deviation 1. So we go on adding 1 to the right hand side when we move from the right hand side, and we go on subtracting 1 when we move towards the left hand side. But our problem is different, where the mean is 50 and the standard deviation is 10. So in place of mean we can write the 50, and when we move towards the right hand side we go on adding the standard deviation, that is 10, and when we move towards the left hand side we go on subtracting the standard deviation, that is 10. These are the points like first standard deviation will be equal to 60 or second standard deviation will be equal to 70, and same is the case from here. In the negative side, first standard deviation will be equal to 40 and minus 2 standard deviation will be equal to 30 score. And it's evident from here that the raw score 70 is having the standard score plus 2, that is positive 2 standard deviation. While finding the percentile rank, we have to find out how many students have secured marks or have scored below this point. That means we have to find the percentage of the cases that lie below this point, that lie below 2 standard deviation or that lie below the raw score 70. We have to find the percentage of the cases that lie in this portion of the normal probability curve. As you know, from mean to left hand side, there lie approximately 50% of the cases, and from mean to right hand side, there also lie the approximately 50% of the cases. From mean to left hand side, there lie the 50% of the cases, and we have to find out from mean to right hand side but up to plus 2 only. We have to find out how many cases lie from mean to plus 2 SD. As when you will be remembering this table, from mean to plus 2 SD, how many percent of the cases lie? That is 47.72%, and this means this portion, in this portion there are 47.72% of the cases. But we have to find out how many percent of the cases, or how many percent of the students lie below this plus 2 standard deviation. So we are going to add up these two, that is 50% plus 47.72%, that will be equal to 97.72%. This means the students who lie below this score is 97.72%. Rounding off this figure means that the student who has scored 70 marks in the class test is having 98 percentile in his class. This is what we deduce from the graph, but let us calculate it through the calculation also. Here we have given that we have the raw score of the student, that is 70. We have given the mean of the class, that is 50, standard deviation, that is 10. To find the percentile rank of the student, we have to convert this raw score into the standard score, and you know how to convert the raw score into the standard score. If you don't know, here is the link. Click on this link and check how to convert the raw score into the standard score. This is known as the standard score, z-score. By this formula we can get the z-score, one of the standard scores, and this is the raw score, this is the mean, and this is the standard deviation of the group. By substituting these values in this formula, we get that the z-score, the standard score for the raw score 70 is plus 2 SD, that we have also got from this normal probability curve. And now we have to find out how many percent of the cases lie below this 2 SD. So that we have also found that below this 2 SD, 97.72% of the cases lie. Thus, from this we can say that the percentile rank of the student is 97.72, but round off this value 97.72 and we find that the percentile rank of the student is 98th. Means if there are 100 students in the class, 98 students have secured below that 70 score, and only two students have secured above that 70 score. I hope you have understood this. Next application is to find the percentile value or the raw score of a student whose percentile rank is known, is given from there. Suppose the percentile rank of a student in a class test is 80. Here it is the percentile rank, it is not the raw score. We have to find out the raw score, neither it is the standard score. The mean of that class is 50 and the standard deviation of that class is 20. We have to find out the raw score of the student, the score which the student has secured in the class. Let us check it from the graph first. This is the graph, a normal curve. You know this normal curve is having mean 0 and standard deviation 1. As you already know, there is approximately 50% of the cases that lie below the mean and 50% of the cases that lie above the mean. But we have to find out the 80th percentile score. This is the 50%. When we subtract this 50 from this 80, there we get the 30%. That means the candidate who has the 80 percentile rank is above mean 30%. This whole is the 80% or the 80th percentile. This means a student has secured 80th percentile, but as per the normal probability curve, he is about 30% above the mean, and this 30% of the cases, as per a normal probability curve table, from the mean it is the plus 0.84 times standard deviation. This means here the standard score is 0.84 standard deviation, and we have already given that 1 SD here is 20 in case of this. In case of this, this is 1 SD, but in case of here, when the mean is 50, the SD is equal to 20. So I have written in the normal curve 1 SD is equal to the curve of this problem 20 20, and what will be the score lying between 0 to 0.84 SD, that will be equal to 20 multiplied by 0.84, which is equal to 16.8. This means that in this 30% area, 16.8 score lies in this area, and in this area there is 50 score. Now we get that the candidate who has 80th percentile, the RAS score will be equal to 50 plus 16.8, that will be equal to 66.8. This is the RAS score of the candidate who has the percentile rank 80. This is what we calculate from the normal curve. Going through the calculations, here we have given this is the standard score 0.84. We have to find out the RAS score. We have given the mean. We have given the standard deviation. I have already told you in the previous video how to find the RAS score when we have given the standard score. If you have not watched that video, the link of that video is here. RAS score is given by this formula. X will be equal to Z score multiplied by standard deviation of the group and adding to that the mean of that group. Here the standard score is 0.84 and the standard deviation is 20 and the mean is 50. So we get the RAS score what the student has secured is 66.80. This is same as like we have got here. So the student who has the percentile rank 80 in this class has secured 66.80 score in the class. This is how we find percentile value or the RAS score, how we get the RAS score when there is given the percentile rank. I hope you have understood this. If you like this video, don't forget to give the thumbs up to this video. Share this video with the others. If you are new to our channel, don't forget to subscribe our channel and press the bell icon so that you can get the notification of the new videos. I will be back soon. Till then, stay tuned to the channel. God bless you.